Welcome to the exciting and new podcast. I'm Jason.
I'm Andy.
I'm Dana.
Guest starring Bryan McIntyre.
Can you turn me up?
Riley McIntyre.
Thank you.
Look at that. We got Bryan and Riley. Something just fell from the thing.
Yeah,
Which
what was
color
that?
are you in?
I forget what color I am.
You're green.
White?
Oh, your headphones?
Well, everyththing's white.
I know. And there's no white here. It's badly marked.
This is white privilege.
Where's this
Oh.
wire comes out here? I'm
Yeah,
green.
you're green. You need your headphones turned up, right?
Yes, thank you.
All right.
Check, 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 check. There. We a little more?
Yeah, that's.
I like
you're-
it maxed. Yeah,
You're
there
at
we
a
go. Okay.
10, man. Really?
Maybe
You're gonna
I might get new headphones. Maybe these are what's bad.
You're gonna
It
Maybe.
might be these.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Everybody else is like at a 7, and you're at a 10.
I usually like it louder.
I know, I
but
get
I
it,
mean, but
I get it.
I think these might be going bad. So I'm gonna. Where'd you get them? Amazon.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right. This is a mini. So why don't we get it started? You want to kick us off, Andy?
All right, I watched. I'm very sad to say this. I watched Late Night with the Devil. Michelle and I watched it the day after we podcasted, and you guys talked
You
about
didn't like it?
Not even a little.
Oh, I
bit.
loved it.
Oh my god.
Not
Loved
even
it.
a little bit. So
I was so into that movie.
Yeah,
man.
me too. I liked it.
it's
Is this a new movie?
yeah, it's
Late Night with the Devil. It's awesome.
it's like a talk show in the 70s, and the guy. What's it? David Dashmalkian, I don't know whatever the hell his name
That's
is.
the Malician?
He's one of those guys who's in all the Ant-Man movies. And
You've seen him, if
Yeah,
you've
he's
seen
like
his
one of
face.
those guys.
The star of it.
Nah. He was like one of the helper guys, Paul Rudd's helper in Ant-Man. But whatever. He's a talk show host, and it's Halloween, and they're having like paranormal.
You don't like
paranormal stuff
horror
on.
movies, though, really, do you?
I like.
I thought you said that
scary
there's
horror
stuff-
movies, but this wasn't even a little scary. It was a tiny bit gross.
I wasn't
but-
scared. I wouldn't
Yeah,
say.
it's just
but
I wasn't
thought it was
interested
a great
either.
Story, yeah.
Oh, I thought it was so boring. Like the first half of it's just like doing a documentary about
Yeah.
that guy's life. I'm
It
like,
does
who
start
the
out a
hell
tiny bit
cares?
slow in the
Building-
beginning,
giving you a
yeah,
little backstory, I guess.
That's
yeah.
true. I do agree with that.
Yeah, that. So besides that, the only other thing, Michelle and I started watching a show called Bodkin. And
Oh,
it's
I
on
watched that too.
Netflix.
I
The
see,
whole
I
thing,
see
or-
that on
Just
Netflix.
one episode
yeah.
so far.
Okay, we watched 2 or 3, and it's
Who's in there?
Will Forte is the star.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
And
yeah. Remember, I said is Will
Yeah.
Forte in it? That's the.
I don't think I know anybody
That's
else.
what
in
I
it.
was talking about.
Well, I said.
You
Will
said he has
Forte-
to have a big beard. He's
Oh, that's
like
right.
you.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So anyway, he's a podcaster. So Michelle's like, "Oh my god, are you gonna like? Huh? He's a podcaster."
That's why we love
Yes,
murders in
we're
the building so much
Yeah.
too, right?
We're the same. We're the same. But he goes to Ireland to this little tiny town to investigate. These 3 people went missing on. Now, when they said the word in the subtitle, it was Sam Hain, and I'm like, "Oh yeah, it's Danzig's old band, Sam Hain." But apparently, the
Spelled
Irish
that
people-
way, too?
Yeah, yep, spelled like that. But they all call it Samhain. So,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So they're all
I've
saying
heard somebody say
Samhain.
that
and,
before, too. I'm
I was like,
like,
I wonder
what?
if anybody told Danzig that he pronounces the name of his own band wrong. But so they go.
That's what
We
makes
say
us
it different in Jersey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they go to investigate. He goes to investigate this disappearance of these 3 people from 20 years ago, and he's just kind of like trying to get like a feel of the story. And he's got 2 other people worked with him, 2 women. One's British and one's Irish, but whatever, that doesn't really matter. And the more he investigates, the more.
Do you like it?
Yeah, it's good. It's
Yeah.
funny because it's advertised as a dark comedy.
That's what I said.
And I
It's
just-
not
exactly-
funny.
I never laughed
No.
one time.
It's good,
I
but
laughed-
it's not funny.
I laughed one time, but I don't think it was supposed to be a laugh.
That's like when you would watch
That's weird.
Baskets, or even when you
Yeah.
watch Louis. Sometimes,
Yeah.
you'd watch an episode of Louis, and you're like, "Was I supposed to laugh at
I
that
think it's
one?"
almost like it's
mean,
like
you
when
know,
a
you're
show
like-
when a show is not dramatic enough. It's almost like they're like, just call it a dark comedy. And people will
Yeah.
be okay with it.
Yeah.
Like I think The Curse was like that too.
Yeah.
Emma Stone, they called it a dark comedy, and I'm like, I never laughed one time in
Yeah,
that show.
because I think
so.
because that Nathan Fielder is a comedian too,
Yeah.
but he's
And
playing
Will
in
Forte,
Will Forte is a
yeah.
comedian.
I mean, I haven't seen Will Forte in anything serious ever.
Ever.
And
I did Nebraska.
oh, I didn't see that.
Good
You're
movie,
right.
too.
With Bruce
You're right.
Dern,
Yeah, Bruce Dern.
Really good movie.
Yeah. So I didn't know if maybe they just said it was a comedy because Will Forte's in it. But yeah, I thought it was really good. But again, I didn't think it was funny.
It's only 7 episodes. We'll watch it
Yeah.
because we have nothing
Yeah.
else to watch.
I,
right
so
now,
I
except
haven't.
Yeah.
I haven't started anything like that, so I'm looking for
we're watching
something.
the Knicks, of course, because they won again last night. Go Knicks.
Congratulations.
Yeah. Riley, are you a Phillies fan? Or are you just wearing that hat because it's sexy looking?
I like the Phillies. I consider myself a Philly sports masochist.
We're a weird family here because we're Knicks, Giants, Devils, and then the Phillies. But the Phillies
They don't like the Eagles.
The Phillies are on fire right now, man.
They are.
Yeah.
It is nice
Did you watch
to
the
see.
roast of Tom Brady yet? You didn't watch that
I
yet?
watched like the first 5 minutes of it, and we were
It's edited now. Like
Get
you're
the
gonna.
hell outta
Yeah, there's
here.
like 5 minutes missing from it already.
on Netflix.
I heard
on
they took
Netflix.
out
Yeah.
the booing of
They
Kim
took
Kardashian.
Kardashian's booing. They lowered
Yeah.
that. the sound of that, but they took 5 minutes out of it.
Oh, then I'm gonna have to watch a bootlegged version of it. Then
Yeah,
That's
you
what I'm
can
saying.
probably find it on X
I'll
because
find
everything's
it.
uncensored there.
Yeah.
Cinemax
Yeah, or
thing.
BitChute.
Yeah.
I'm just surprised they did that. I saw an article like in whatever, like
They
just
probably
online.
cut Tony Hinchcliffe a little bit because he was vicious.
Well, they said that Tom Brady. It said something about how like his children have been affected.
Oh,
by
he said
the-
that today. I saw something
was
about
that?
that.
He was on a
too, yeah.
podcast. He was on a podcast.
Yeah, he said that
his children were
the
affected.
jokes affected his kids. So I guess because his kids heard it. Well, your kids are teens.
Everybody's too sensitive these days.
But they're going to go to school. The other kids are going to say, "Isn't that Tom Brady's kid?" They're going to know, so they're going to watch it, and they're going to get all kinds of shit.
Yeah.
They already have all kinds of shit on that,
Yeah.
probably because their parents are talking
I mean,
shit
what
about
They're
it.
like, my mom's Giselle and my dad's Tom Brady. There's not a lot of shit you can give me. I'll be
Yeah.
like, oh, poor me.
Yeah.
You
I know. I'm rich
That's what I'm
and
gonna say.
bland.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it affected me so much.
Haven't they been having roasts for like decades? Because I heard some of
Ever,
it.
ever, yeah.
So now they're, belly aching now.
But
about,
that's what a roast is,
Right.
And
Yeah.
he agreed to it. He said when he agreed to it, they were going to pay him so much money. I think it was $20 million.
Whoa, what the hell?
That's
really?
what I heard. Yeah.
20 million.
So,
I
but it
would
was
get-
towards,
well,
Yeah.
that
it was
was
towards
his
his
hurt
charities.
feelings, right?
Yeah.
It was towards
no
his
court case
charities.
required.
So it was like,
Yeah, as long as it goes to his charity, I'm okay.
yeah, it
with
wasn't
that, I
towards
guess.
him. It was towards his
Is
charities.
this the same
but-
son who people probably tormented because his dad was kissing him on the mouth?
No, that's
That kid's
Bridget
older,
Moynihan's.
yeah.
That's the other kid.
Oh, that's the other son.
Yeah,
Okay.
because he has the other
one he
kids with
abandoned.
Giselle, and then the one he has.
Yeah.
And apparently,
Yeah.
apparently the kids were off limits. Like, because I saw Nikki Glaser was interviewed like afterwards, and she's like,
Yeah, that
we
was
all
one of the
came-
things-
We all
kids
came
were off
together and
limits,
said we
yeah.
weren't going to talk about the kids because everybody.
I
probably
saw a
wanted
lot
to
of her
make that-
clips.
And there's talk
I
about
heard
the,
she was funny.
Jeff Ross. When Jeff Ross was up there, Brady went up there and said, "Better knock that shit off." But that was planned.
Yeah, I'm sure
Yeah.
it was.
But people are saying like, "Oh man, did you see how pissed Brady was?" And he put him out. I was like, because he said something about Robert Kraft, and that was just like, shut
Now,
up.
aren't they usually not live though? And don't they usually get edited anyway because
Well,
they're not
they usually
live?
get edited. They're not usually 3 hours
Yeah.
long.
Because
and
they're
they
usually
do
like
get edited.
Comedy
Yeah.
It was
Central
3
like that.
hours.
It was a little
Was
over.
it supposed to
it
be
was 3
3
hours and
hours?
4 minutes. It was live.
Oh my
They didn't know
God.
how long it was going to go because it was live, you know. And Ben Affleck showed up when he showed up, and he's coked out of his mind because he stops.
Really?
He stops reading the teleprompter, and he just like you could see him just like chewing his
What's
mouth.
Ben Affleck? Oh, because he's from Boston. And,
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I guess I see his connection.
Okay.
But yeah, so let's see. I watched Godzilla -1.
Excellent.
Oh.
Excellent.
so
movie.
good.
Hell yeah,
I loved
bro.
it.
I love that movie.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Did you see it in the theater?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, me
That
too.
actually,
I
we
didn't see
It was
did
good.
see
I didn't see it in the
Yeah.
theater.
Yeah, I didn't
but-
see it in the theater either.
I
Which
totally
was-
loved it. It was a throwback to
Yeah.
so good.
It was the
school
best,
movies.
I'd say, Godzilla movie I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Didn't it win an Oscar?
It's for like
I
sound
think
or something
so,
like that.
yeah.
Yeah, or
Yeah.
editing. Yeah, but it was the first Godzilla movie ever to win an Oscar. which is something, I guess.
Yeah.
Then I finished up Baby Reindeer on Netflix,
Oh, that's
which is
so good.
absolutely
The
incredible.
drama coming out now after this.
Yes.
Have you guys heard of Baby Reindeer?
No.
No.
Okay, so there's a comedian and he made a.
It's a British comedian, and he's a
comedian.
hack.
Yeah,
Hack comedian.
yeah, he's a really bad comedian.
You
but
can
he's,
find his sets on YouTube.
Is
Yeah.
that part of the story, or is
Yeah,
he?
he's
Yeah,
telling
part of
his
the story,
true
yeah.
story of his life and what he's been through, and he was stalked by
He
a
works.
woman.
He works at a pub, and,
And-
some lady comes into the pub,
Yeah, she just stalks
and he's
the
like
shit out of
nice
him.
to her that day. He just gives her a cup of tea.
Yeah, because she was like sad and she didn't have any money, but you know she was.
She says she's a lawyer.
She says she's a lawyer and she's doing all these things. So
you
anyway,
didn't see any of this yet?
No,
it's so good.
I will not watch it
it's
either.
so good.
Oh, why not? It's so good.
Michelle-
It's sad
no
and
interest.
depressing, but it's good. But anyway, now people have doxed and figured out who this woman is in real life. So they have now found out who this woman is.
She went on Piers
She
Morgan.
went on Piers Morgan.
Oh shit.
And
So she
just,
doxed herself there.
Oh my God, but it's just getting worse because now she's trying to. Oh, I don't even know him. I've never sent him an email. I never did all these things. And like, she's just going on. She's making herself worse. It's just making it worse and making it worse. And now everyone's talking about her and it's just a mess. But the show was really good.
Oh yeah, it's like Beef. Did you see Beef?
Yeah.
On Netflix, that was so good
It
too.
was
But this
good.
was like another version of that in
Yeah.
a different way, kind of telling a different story almost. But I finished that John Mulaney's specials.
Did you watch all of them?
I watched all of them.
I didn't watch past the
Were
first
any
one.
good?
Some of them, there was a couple good ones. John Carpenter was on one. That was fun. Weezer was there.
Is it a fast forward kind of show? Like,
Yeah,
I don't want to watch this part, because I felt
big
the first
time.
one was like
big
that.
time. Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys know John Mulaney? I'm sure you know John Mulaney.
I maybe.
yeah,
I probably know I probably
don't
know
know.
him if you showed me a
he's a
picture.
stand-up.
Yeah,
but
stand-up
He was
comic.
doing like a talk show on
It's like a
Netflix.
live talk show he was doing on Netflix, and it was just that. It was like
Yeah.
it could have been better, but
Yeah.
It would have been better if it was half the length. I think the first episode anyway. Like it was an hour, and I was like, after a half hour, I was bored.
yeah.
so.
Yeah.
Then I watched "Don't Be a Menace to South Central While Drinking Your Juice in the Hood."
That's a
just
throwback.
That's a great movie.
just because it was on, and I was like, all right, I'm going to do this, and I
love
watched
that
it. I
movie.
love that movie. Great. Then I watched another one of my favorites, The Running Man. I love that movie so much, just because I was in a mood for
An Arnold
movie. Yeah,
That's
And
not coming till like 2027, right? Because isn't that when
they're doing a remake.
you know if we
really?
do the 80s on the podcast?
Oh, it's
here,
87. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what it came out.
well, yeah.
But
you signing up for that now?
and then
Just
I,
put a board up here of all the future movies so people can sign
Pennsylvania.
up.
last thing I watched besides the movie we're doing after this was An American Werewolf in London.
Oh, I love that
All
movie.
time
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
So good.
Have you seen that, Riley?
A little bit of it, not the whole
Just
thing,
for the
but it's good.
just seeing the transformation scene. Rick Baker,
You know,
absolutely incredible. I recommend that movie just
The-
to
the-
watch.
I've seen bits and pieces. Like I've seen clips of it, so I must have seen it as a kid.
But the transformation scene is one of the best
It's insane.
special effects
And
of all time.
For it to be that old,
Yeah.
because it's what 81.
yeah. Griffin
then,
Dunn. We've
yeah.
done Griffin Dunn recently.
I
What
know.
did we do Griffin Dunn in?
Griffin
Yeah, he
Dunn
was
was
in-
Man, we just did him in something.
Was he in the movie I hated? Probably because I hate
not
them all.
Repo Man, not Buckaroo Banzai.
What's the one with the back with the guns and the gangsters?
Buckaroo Banzai.
No,
Oh, Johnny Dangerously.
John
Oh,
Dangerously.
Johnny
Yes.
Dangerously. Right, he's his
Yeah.
brother.
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Great movie, by the way, Johnny Dangerously. But
Not
American
that
Werewolf in
Dana.
That's
London.
what you
wasn't.
think.
She
Yeah.
hated it. Remember?
What did you watch,
Didn't
Dana? Anything fun?
Well, I'm still watching Doctor Who, so I'm only in season
The-
Oh,
seven.
I
new
hear a
ones?
lot of
Yeah.
bad things about
The new
new
one or
Doctor.
the?
I don't know if it started yet or it just had its first episode. I'm not sure. I think the new season just aired. I watched it before. I'm in a rewatch. I'm in season 7. It starts
watching
to
it
go
with Tara, right?
downhill after season.
Tara's watching with you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Once it gets to Peter Capaldi, I kind of fell off on it, and I just wasn't interested anymore. And then I watched the one. Well, I still watched it. Then I watched the one with Jodie Whittaker, and then I stopped. But I want to catch up.
Aren't they all woke nowadays?
Yeah, sure they are.
Like
Well, I mean-
Doctor Who is a female now.
No, I think that's just a black guy.
now it's a man.
Now he's a gay black
Okay.
guy.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I'm familiar with the Doctor Who from back in the 80s.
Yeah. No, I never watched those, but
Dana's familiar with the 60s ones. She's watched
Yeah.
since then.
yeah.
I remember going over to Anthony Galletta's house in the 70s.
Doxing.
He had
Doxed
that
right
on
there.
his TV on PBS. Because
Yes.
that was the only thing you could watch
Yeah.
on it back in the. I remember being like, "What are you watching?"
Yeah, and it was like
He's
filmed in a
Doctor Who.
closet.
Yeah, and it was filmed on that like really crappy like videotape quality. Oh
Yeah.
my god! I
Yeah.
was like,
I'll
what?
tell you, some of this stuff, Tara, we
Boo,
kind of look at
Anthony,
each
boo.
other like, oh, let's skip this one. It's so stupid. But there's some that it makes up for it. Some are really good and some are really bad. And I
Does
know
it
which
really
ones.
make up for it,
It
though,
does
for that
me,
many?
Because
Okay,
I
yeah.
love David Tennant so much. I really enjoyed watching it,
Yeah.
his, and I like Matt Smith. And then the rest are just, you just kind of watched it because you watched it.
What
and
about the dude from The Leftovers? Christopher.
he was okay.
Eccleston
Yeah,
or
he was
whatever?
only one season.
Only one season.
Yeah, he didn't
was the
agree
doctor?
with them. Yeah. He didn't get along with, I guess.
That's just so weird that they
People.
just changed the guy.
That-
every once
Yeah,
in a
change them all the
while.
time.
You would think
Yeah.
on a show like that, they wouldn't want to do that.
They usually
you
do
know?
like 3 seasons per actor.
Yeah, it's
at
only
least in
been
this
one season per actor. Recently, they did it with the girl doctor. I don't even know if she made it a season, but
Yeah, I think
then-
she was in 3 seasons.
Really? 3
She was
seasons?
in, so 14 is coming up, so she was in 13, 12, and 11. So 11 through.
As the Doctor.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Because he has a female
But-
sidekick all the time, right? Doesn't
Yeah.
he have
It
something?
goes back and forth.
Sometimes he has
it's
both.
multiple. He had a
Yeah.
lizard lady once
Oh,
and a
of course.
potato head for a couple episodes.
As you're
So,
going to have.
A real
Yeah.
potato head?
I call him. He looked like a potato head. Yeah.
Doctor
But
Who
was his name
He was
Potato
like
Head in
no,
the show?
no, but that's
would've
what I
been
just
great,
call
Mr. Potato Head. And he talked like Don Rickles.
No. But yeah, this new one, I did see his Christmas special. I liked it, so I was looking forward to it. So we'll see what happens.
Doctor Who is
I
so
still-
old that the
it's gonna take
original
me forever.
episodes aren't available because
Yeah.
they didn't think about it back in the 60s. They just
Yeah.
taped over them or whatever. Like they're just
Well,
not
them-
there.
One of them got taped over by the guy in the Max Headroom mask.
What? Really?
Yeah, the Max Headroom incident. It was during an episode of Doctor Who. The guy like jacked into the broadcast and just like talked about nonsense, and it kind of like ruined the tape, I guess.
Like a real,
Oh
an
my
actual
gosh.
episode.
Yeah,
Wow, that's
yeah. On
crazy.
broadcast, he jacked into the transmission. It was in the 80s. It was like 1986.
Oh, yeah,
I
we
think.
loved Max
That's
Headroom back in the
crazy,
day.
yeah.
Yeah,
That was
the
only a couple
ultimate
of years, though,
troll
right? That didn't
move.
last that long.
yeah.
He had like the show, but then he was in Back to the Future too and stuff like that. I don't know, whatever.
He lived on, yeah, and
Yeah.
Ready Player One, all that
Ready
shit.
Player One.
Yeah. I also watched Bodkin, one episode. We started watching 6 Feet Under.
That's
I
old show.
never
Yeah.
watched that.
Yeah.
HBO, right?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
pretty good. And then we saw Fall Guy.
Oh,
Which
how was that?
It was
Fall
really
Guy?
good, yeah.
What you think? You liked it?
I think.
Yeah. I liked
That's
it
the
a
one
lot.
with
Yeah.
Gosling and
It's the one with
Emma Blunt.
All that
What you
abs.
call it? Did,
Oh.
Yes.
did Connor see it? What did you find out if
Yeah,
Connor
Connor
liked it?
liked it.
I couldn't
Yeah,
remember.
yeah.
I know he was going to see it.
It was actually really good. I mean, it was Ryan Gosling and Aaron Taylor Johnson.
Yeah,
Is that his name?
yeah.
I always want to
Quicksilver from
Joy Tyler, whatever. I get
Age
those
of
names
Anya
mixed up.
Taylor.
Is it a
Joy.
remake
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
the old
It's
Fall Guy?
I guess it's like a.
It's I guess the
updated
same premise.
version?
He's a stunt double, and the guy he's
Lee
stunt
Majors had a
doubling for.
cameo?
Yeah, because that's what I remember was the old
Lee
series.
Majors,
Yeah.
Did he have a cameo?
Lee Majors.
I don't know.
You don't know if Lee
I
Majors.
wouldn't recognize him
But
today if I
that's
saw
who
him.
Fall Guy
I'm
is. You
sorry.
just
got a squinty
I
eye.
don't know.
You would think
It's
you would look into
bionic.
it.
I don't.
Did he, when he looked around it, to make the sound like.
And Emily Blunt, which I could take her or leave her.
What?
I'll take
Yeah.
her. Oops.
I'll take her too.
My
She's
God.
all right.
Although Connor saw that, and we were talking about Emily Blunt,
Yeah.
and then he went and saw the new Planet of the Apes movie.
Oh
And
yeah,
he
yeah.
Lee Majors plays the Fall Guy in it.
In what? In the show?
In the new one?
Oh, in the new
In the
one?
new
I
one, he
don't-
is the Fall Guy. That's his name.
There
The
wasn't-
Fall Guy, John.
I
Lee
don't know what he
Majors,
would have
right
been.
there.
I swear to God, I didn't see any. I was busy looking at somebody's abs the whole time. So I don't know.
Wasn't his. He's like 80 or 90 now.
No, definitely not him.
That's
He was
Lee
married to
Majors.
Farrah Fawcett back in the day.
I know who he is. I
okay.
just don't recognize his face. I watched the Bionic Woman, not the Bionic Man.
Well, I'm sure he was on that too. Jamie Summers.
She had to be a spin-off, so obviously.
And
She
then-
would have come first.
Yeah, I finished Artemis, the Andy Weir book.
Oh, you finished that?
Yeah.
Wow, really? That was
Yeah.
quick.
It was only about. Oh, well, it was an audiobook. I didn't read it, but it was only about 6 hours when I put it on, 1.5 speed.
Wow. Was it good? Did you like it?
If I'm comparing it to
His other
Project
stuff.
Hail Mary, it's not nearly as good.
Yeah, I've heard
This is
it
the one
wasn't.
that there's a movie series coming out about it?
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, he's the guy that wrote The Martian, and he wrote Project Hail Mary,
is
but
Ryan
The one
Gosling's gonna be
before
in that.
this, right? The book before that one?
Yeah.
right.
And then I started The Martian. I'm halfway through The Martian, so and that'll be all his works.
Main books,
So
yeah.
the book's really good.
have you read him, Andy Weir?
Probably not.
All right, you would
Yeah,
love.
it's
about
very
Brett
sci-fi.
Weir?
It's all
Brett Weir.
I have way
Space.
too many things on my
Bob
reading
Weir.
list right
yeah.
now. I have
All
he-
three of
he
his.
reads a lot.
He only
Yeah.
has 3 books out
Yeah.
total, I believe, and they're all set in space.
I mean, he's the guy that wrote The Martian. Did you
Yeah.
see The Martian
Isn't that
movie?
Jim?
with
Yeah,
I was thinking
Matt
Jason.
that's
Damon?
the only Martian I
Yeah,
saw.
and then
Yeah.
this one, Project Hail Mary, that he wrote,
Yes.
that they're making a movie with Ryan Gosling. It was an awesome book.
Yeah.
Awesome. I loved it.
Yeah.
And then Artemis is the one that he wrote in between those.
He's
which
making
I-
that movie now? Or
Yeah, it's coming out next year, I
Yeah.
think.
Yes.
With someone directing it. Like, I was like, oh, that's good. I forget now who it was. Like, maybe Ridley Scott or someone
Oh.
like that? Maybe.
I don't know.
Maybe. I can't remember now.
I'm getting a spam call. Sorry about that, kids.
Put him on the podcast.
Yeah.
I haven't talked. Got his input.
So, what about you boys? What have you been up to?
You want to go first?
Sure. I thought about watching Fallout.
Yeah.
What's
Oh,
everyone's
it was
opinion
good.
on that?
I loved it.
Okay, good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was gonna say,
It-
they
Well,
watched
Goggins
it.
is-
Seeing
When
the
Dan
buzz.
when
Yeah.
Dan was sitting in your seat, we talked about it because he had just finished it too, and he liked
Yeah.
it a lot also. So it's got 3 recommendations.
Yeah,
from
it was
people
fun.
that have been on this podcast.
Okay, well then maybe
It's-
next
it's-
podcast I'll be able to talk about it.
Excellent. Yeah. You'll enjoy it.
You're going to come off for something horror, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we got to start working on our Halloween movies already. 'cause
Okay,
we're so
I'm in.
far ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like this episode's not coming out till like mid-June.
We're doing
got so
good, though,
many
because we got a lot of
episodes.
movies to get through. So we'll get through the ones I think we want to
Yeah,
get
you're
through.
really cranking them out now.
We do what
aren't
we.
you?
Yeah.
This is what I said. We lost a guy because of that.
Yeah,
You know what I
Bryan
mean?
didn't want to do it every week. He didn't want to put them out every week, and
And we were trying to start doubling up, so we had
Yeah, we've been doing it too.
a backlog,
so we fired him. Fired.
And we have no life. Well, I have no life, so I can come over anytime and do a podcast. I have nothing else to do.
Once my
Yeah,
kids
I'm
like,
impressed by everything you've been watching. Too.
Yeah,
so
I
he's
know.
got this long list.
Dana's really the only reason why we still have this podcast. I think. So,
once my kids graduated high school, I stopped having things to do, and I'm just
Yeah.
kinda like, I guess I'll watch TV now. But I don't even do that much. I watch sports again now. I didn't used to watch sports for a while.
You had a little break of sports,
All
and now
my
it's
teams
like,
sucked, so it was hard. I'm not going to watch a Phillies game when they're going to lose 100 games a season, but now they're good. I'll watch them.
It's hard to watch a team when you know they're going to go 62-100.
Yeah, not easy. Now
Why do you want to watch that?
Now I just don't watch football, which is my favorite sport, but the Giants suck so bad.
That's why you watch Red Zone, because then you get the best of the...
watch it all.
The best
No, bro, the Eagles, most painful thing I'd ever had to witness.
I don't even want to hear it.
Ever had to witness in my life.
You're not going to get any sympathy.
We probably have more Eagle fans down here than Giant fans, but still, I'm not gonna play into that.
I mean, I don't really follow football very closely, but I still felt the pain, the knife being twisted in my gut every time they went on the field. It was...
Oh, that knife that you were feeling, that's joy that he's feeling.
Yeah.
He's the one twisting.
My team hasn't had a winning record in like 10 years. I can have no room to talk about. Like,
that's just a little bit. You get the little things, you know.
We were on track to get to the playoffs, maybe even go all the way, and then just.
Yeah, they were good, and then all of a sudden not good.
Yeah,
on the plane over
weird
to
happened.
whatever game it was, they just like were replaced with pod people.
I remember when all of a sudden they were like, "What happened to the Eagles?" I'm like, "Aren't they like 11-1?" And then
they lost like 5 in
another
another
game.
Or something.
No, they lost every single game after that, and then the Phillies. The Phillies was the most painful last year.
Oh
dude.
man, because they were up 2-0 in that playoff series,
and then like before, it was like they got replaced with pod people on the flight over to Arizona.
It's so funny because
something happened on that flight.
Both my kids are wired different ways. Daniel's a huge baseball fan. Logan's a huge basketball fan. So like,
but do they like both? Like some? Does he like some basketball?
Like if Logan comes home and watching a baseball game, he'll sit and watch it, but he wouldn't put it on.
Okay.
And Daniel's the same way with basketball. Like he'll sit and watch like the basketball game with us, but he wouldn't put it on. Yeah. So it's just so funny how like Daniel's getting all like.
Are they Knicks fans? Is he a Knicks fan?
Daniel's a Sixers fan and Logan's a Thunder fan. So. There's like the Sixers and the Knicks played last week, and Daniel's getting so pissed at me when I was like going like, yeah. He's like, you didn't even care about basketball. Like I know, but my team's winning for the first time since I was
Phillies, though, right?
Yeah, they do like the Phillies and the Giants. The Giants was the only thing I cared about. I was like, you can follow any other team in any other sport, but you're New York Giant fans. So I've cursed them into that life now for the last long time.
Your dad liked the same teams too, right? Was he a Giants fan also?
He was a Giant fan. He was a Phillies fan. Yeah. He didn't care about basketball and hockey too much. He was an old school guy.
You care more about hockey.
I used to love hockey. Like I used to go to Devils games all the time, and then they got pricey. And then I started having kids, and we started going.
Then it'd be even more pricey because we got to bring the kids.
We started going to like the local Trenton teams, and like 5 people were in the crowd. And we're like, this is boring.
We can get you on the ice.
Anyway, Riley, what have you been up to, man? You're a young guy. You must be doing something fun.
Yeah, so
you must have a life.
School.
Oh yeah. My school semester just ended last week, actually, last Friday.
Oh wow,
so,
nice.
So now I'm free to drink and smoke as much as I want, watch as many movies.
He's been keeping me up all night with his friends.
Yeah, I have friends over. Last night I had my friend over. We got faded, and then we watched Up in Smoke.
Oh, good one.
Good one.
I'd seen it before, but he hadn't. And
that's the Stacy Keach one, right? That's with the van.
Yeah,
the van is made out of.
That's got that famous scene in there. That's the most acid I've ever seen anybody.
Oh yeah, I love it. Oh shit! Like the way he just starts laughing. He's like, you just had the most acid I think I've ever seen.
That's definitely not a movie for Dana.
Yeah, that's like Dumb and Dumber plus like Airplane or something like that.
Yeah. Is that the one with Pee Wee in it?
Mix it all up.
That's
the Pee Wee as the waiter, right? Yeah, that's in next movie.
I'm sorry, I took the money.
That's so good.
And then after that, I watched the Terminator again.
Okay,
Yeah.
So you're ready to go.
And that's how we landed here. Yeah.
No, that was before. Because I watched that movie a lot.
Oh, okay.
Oh, and I
It's one of my
watched Terminator 2. I'd never seen it.
Oh, really?
But growing up in the 90s,
What's your Terminator
and
2
seeing
score?
the music
We'll
video,
get
I've
that.
seen
We'll
it
get that.
1,000 times.
Save
I
your
felt
Terminator 2
I will.
for
I'm
later.
going to save it for the
Terminator
next
2
one.
is not coming until like 2031.
It's 91, yeah.
So
I
we
know.
might as well talk about Terminator 2 in this next podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah, it won't hurt. I watched The Running Man. That's 87. I figured that was okay to watch.
Now, we were talking about Stephen King before. That's based on a Stephen King book where the book is far superior to the movie. I mean, I like the movie.
Which movie?
Running Man.
Oh,
It's kind of like
It is? I didn't know that.
It's kind of like a goofy movie, but the book's really the book's like almost scary.
It's like
Stephen
really?
King's
Game
books
show.
are kind of unadaptable. like you can't really adapt them 1-to-1 from
Yeah, I mean,
where-
it
from-
depends. Like, the more supernatural it is, the less likely you are
Yeah.
to. Like,
Yeah.
Misery
Stanley
was a
Misery
great
was good.
adaptation
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
it was just kind of like a straight up captive story. And
Yeah, but there's like a lot of Stephen King is internal monologue and how do you put it? It's internal monologue and like exposition.
Sure.
That you can't really get across super easily in a visual format, like a show or a movie. Which it's especially bad for it because the book, it goes back and forth.
Yeah.
Like halfway through, you get like one part with the adults, one part with the kids, and it goes back and forth, and that's not really plausible for like a movie.
Sure. It's
you can't really do that
jarring.
because the pacing is jarring. Also, the book is 1,100 pages.
And I'll tell you,
Yeah.
just like the book, the first movie, it part one where there were kids was awesome, and I
It was great.
Yeah.
did not like the second movie.
But I did like the one in the. I liked Tim Curry as it in the
but
80s.
I like both movies in the 80s.
I just,
Yeah.
I don't
like
think
both of them.
I don't like the adult portion of that story.
No, I
guess.
agree. The adult portion totally sucks.
I
The kid
enjoy it.
portion was
You know,
really
you
good.
got what from Judge from Night Court. You got
Yeah.
John
Harry
Ritter.
Anderson, yeah.
And,
yeah.
Richard Mazer, I think, is one of them,
Yep,
isn't he?
yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The 80s version was too
Was
cheesy
Misery-
for
was-
me.
Well, it's from Made for TV.
It
So
reminded me of
Misery,
like Dune. That was too cheesy
yeah.
for me. Talk about internal dialogue and
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
the new Dune I love. I haven't
Yeah.
seen the
you haven't seen part
part
two
two.
yet?
No.
With Tim
Oh, we saw
Chalamet
part
right there,
two.
man.
Part
Yeah.
two was we saw
It
it
was
in the
really
theater
good,
together.
yeah.
Yeah, it was part two's one of the best movies
Yeah,
ever.
I read
Misery,
the book.
was that a full length
Yeah, that
novel?
was a
Yeah,
full
yeah.
length
I didn't know if that was a
novel,
It
short
wasn't
story
huge
or
though.
not.
It wasn't one of those 1,000-page.
I was going to say, I know
it was
No,
like
it's like
300
shorter
pages.
story.
Yeah.
That's why I didn't know if it was a short story or
They
not.
did a really good
yeah.
job.
Stephen
Running
King
Man's,
it is.
Running
Yeah.
Man's like a short story. Running Man's like 200 pages.
It's a
Okay.
small.
It's
Okay.
it's shorter, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
excellent. It's
I
such a
might get
good-
that then.
That's part of the Bachman books. That's the one that he wrote under the other name. I think it's let's see. Bachman books are shit. I'm not
think
going.
he
Oh,
wrote-
Shawshank Redemption.
He wrote
It's
Rage, I think, under.
Yeah, Rage, which they.
Yeah,
it's
he
not in
completely
print
took out-
anymore,
yeah, he
'cause that's
took
a
that out.
school shooting thing.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Oh wait,
How about
I'm sorry.
music? You didn't
Shawshank
tell
is
us
a
your
different.
music.
Yeah. So I've been doing this thing where I joined a website where they give me an album to listen to every day because I figured I wanted to.
Oh, you're still in that
Yeah,
thing?
yeah. So.
You had a good week or a bad week?
Nah, a weird week. A weird week. So I got Coldplay. Parachutes,
Again?
man. Fuck
That's the
that.
third Coldplay one.
I give you
hate
permission
that.
to skip.
Yeah,
Oh my God.
I'll be
Seriously.
honest. I listened to like the first 3 songs. I'm like, I got it. I don't like it. Okay, fine. Then I got Blood, Sweat, and Tears. Okay, fine.
What's that?
70s
That's like
kinda
keyboard.
Can you
Yeah,
pick
yeah.
your genre?
No. It's just there's a list out there of the 1,001 albums you need to listen to before you die. So this is just
And
like pulling
it's
those.
something from everywhere. It's
Yeah.
all over the map.
I got the Zombies, Odyssey, and Oracle, which is like hippie late
60s,
60s.
yeah.
Some of these
Kind of
would
like-
drive me to kill myself.
Yeah, some of them I like put on in the background as I'm working. Now, I got Dolly Parton, Coat of Many Colors, and I was like,
Okay.
all right, listen.
Is it a good album?
Well, I was
Or one
like,
of the albums
I'm
with the
like,
songs
I
on it?
like the idea of Dolly Parton. I like Dolly Parton. I'm like, do I actually like Dolly Parton music? It's a great album. Like,
I'll go see her in
like, I was,
concert.
it was like that. I was like, every song came on. Every song was about her mama and being poor and like growing up. And like, I'm like, I really feel for her. Like, I think I like country music when it's that kind of country music, like that old Hank Williams, Johnny
Yeah,
Cash,
me
Dolly
too.
Parton. Not this new shit that they
Yeah, the
call
auto-tune
country
shit.
music.
No, that's
But,
like
yeah,
too
the pop
it's like
country.
it's cookie cutter.
So then I got FKA Twigs.
FKA Twigs? That's the band or the album?
It's a female artist. She's a solo.
FKA Twigs, that's her name?
The name of the album is LP1. It was the worst piece of shit I've ever heard in my life.
What year was it?
We need a sample
It's
of it. It sounds like hip hop or something.
It's worse than that. It's like electronic. The best way that I can describe it
This
is
actually kind of sounds familiar.
the best way I can describe it is when
Twigs? I don't think
Ross
I've ever heard
Geller
that.
on Friends was experimenting with the keyboard. It was all like sound effects and stuff like that. It was like that. I'm trying to pull up a song right now,
Wait,
but
what app is this called?
That's them.
Is that it?
this is just like the beginning of one of the songs. But like,
It sounds like somebody tuning up there, like.
You know what it reminds me of? Early Butthole Surfers.
oh, but it's not. It's not. It's.
It sounds trippy like that though. But I don't know what she's
I'm not gonna
singing.
listen.
Yeah.
Like this is good. garbage. I don't want to listen to it. So anyway,
It sounds like bad production value too.
well, that could be just because I'm playing it
She's
through
a
my
song
phone
with
into the
just
microphone.
Kanye
Sounds
West.
like, yeah.
So
Oh, I
guess
was reading the
she maybe
reviews
got
on
big
it.
for a little
I was
while.
reading the reviews.
She's what?
Everybody
She
loves
did an
her,
album
and
with
it's all.
him?
I'm like,
she has a song
obviously-
with
Oh,
him.
a
Like
song
her
with him?
top. I just looked at her top streams on Spotify, and it was one with Kanye West. So maybe she
This
got
music
big
was
for
not
one,
made
and
for
then
me.
I never heard of her.
Yeah, this music was not made for me. I was just like, what is this?
You didn't need to hear that before you died.
Yeah.
You know
Yeah.
what you should check out before you die? Spreaker, download, rate, subscribe, review, do all those fun things. We're the exciting and new podcast on all our socials. I'm The Jazoo on Instagram, Jazoo74 over there on Twitter. It's been the exciting and new mini podcast. I'm Jason.
AEGonzo1 on Instagram, AEGonzo1970 on Twitter, or possibly backwards on that. I'm Andy.
Dana Caps on TikTok, Dana
You
Caps77
messed
on
it up.
Instagram. I'm Dana.
I'm Brian Mack, and I'm everywhere and nowhere.
I don't have an online presence. I'm Riley McIntaggart.
Nice.
Don't find me.
21-year-old with no online presence. That's rare.
Not a personal one, at least.